Hi guys, welcome back. Domain for Identity and Access Management. In this video we're going to see implementing AD Federation Services Practice Lab. Lab requirements: VMware or VirtualBox, Windows Server 2016 Domain Control, Windows Server 2016 Domain Member Server, Windows Server 2016 Domain Member Standalone, Windows 10 Workstation. So if you guys have the older versions like 2012 or newer version 2019 or Windows 10, Windows 7, 8, so you guys can use it for test environment. Tasks for the lab. So we're going to see the 6 tasks in this video. So first we will see the task 1, prepare system requirement for ADFS resource partner. So under the task 1 we are going to see the 5 tasks one by one. So the administrator of networks resource such as files, folders, printers or network application can be managed by setting up access control list to user groups in Active Directory domain services. When user logs into the domain by presenting his credential or identity and is successfully signed in, he is granted access to corporate assets based on his role in the network. When two distinct organizations such as business affiliate need to share network resource, a federation can be established between the computers. A federation is a collection of realm or security domains with established relationship for sharing corporate assets. So Active Directory Federation Service is a Microsoft technology that provides identity federation that uses claims-based authentications. A claim is a statement regarding a user such as the user's name, email address, among others users attributes that identity that uses to application or resource that he requested. So when setting up ADFS, the Active Directory Federation Service, it typically involves two security domains. One is a resource partner and another one is an account partner. So first we are going to see ADFS resource partner. So let's go for the topic now. So first in the domain control we have to perform this step. Open the Windows PowerShell. So we are going to use this command. So with this command will help to install AD certificate services. Okay, so let's enter. So please wait while the installation of AD certificate services is in progress. So okay, it's almost completed. Okay, it's done successfully. So now we are going to enter this command. Yes. So this command helps to install AD certificate service using default settings. Okay. So let's wait for some time. So now press S to all, enter. So now is completed. So we have now successfully added and installed AD certificate services. Now the second task is export root CS certificate to a file. So the root CS certificate will be exported to a file and will later be used to create a certificate trust with an external organization. So let's go for the task now. Tools, certificate authority, certification authority, and then right click. So you need to choose a property. Here the view certificate. So details, copy to your file. Next. So default settings. So proceed next. So you can enter the location. So where it will export. Okay, finish. So the export was successful. So now you can click OK. So we have now successfully exported the file. So we are now going to see third task, configure custom certificate template on CA server. Okay. So just click OK. So in the configure custom certificate template on CA server, which means a server running the ADFS service must be assigning a custom certificate that supports subject alternative names, SAN. In short, SAN. Assigning more than one names to certificate is the concept of SAN. Okay. So you guys can Google it to more information. So what is SAN? So how can we use it? So you can just Google it. Okay. So now expand the practice lab, and then on the certificate template, right click, manage. So here you can select the web server, and on the web server right click, duplicate template. So here general, and then we need to give a name for the template display name. And then we need to enable these options. So publish certificate is in Active Directory. Sorry, publish certificate in Active Directory is very important. And then security. And the security tab, just click add. So add button. So click object types, and then computer. Okay. You have to click OK now. Then we need to add the computer name, the host name, domain control, and member server. So you can see here a domain control and domain member server is added successfully. So now we're going to just select the first one, and then need to enable enroll, and then second I have to do the same thing, enroll, apply, OK. So now we have successfully done the configure custom certificate template on CA server. Now we are going to see allow issuance of new template. So to make the new certificate template available to requesting user to must be added into a certificate template folder in the certificate authority. Okay. So for that, just go to domain control. So the domain control, just proceed this one. Yeah, just proceed this one. Go to this certificate authority once again. Yeah, here is already open. So we have to right click on the certificate template, and then click new certificate, then click certificate template to issue. So here we have already added, right? So plabs dash web, so what we created earlier. So just click OK, proceed, click OK. So we have, you guys can see here that is added successfully under the certificate template. So just proceed, click close. So now the last task we are going to perform is a request web certificate for ADFS server. Okay. For that, MMC, run as administrator, and then file, add and remove snap in, So here we need to add the certificates. For that, just click add and computer account, and then click next, and then finish. So then we have to click OK. Then you can just go back to the console one and then expand the certificate local what we created earlier. So then just click the certificate, right click, all task, request use certificate. Okay, then proceed next. So next, so it takes few seconds to open. Okay, now we have to select the plabs what we created earlier, plabs.web, and then click these options. More information is required to enroll. So here we need to select a common name. So then you can give your domain control host name, and then your main domain, parent domain domain. Okay, then click add. So now we can add the DNS. We need to add 3 DNS. So ADFS Active Directory, I just adding this one, adfs.practicelabs.com, and then set certificate authority .adfs.practicelabs.com, and then enterprise registration practicelabs.com. Just make sure there is no typo, there is no spelling mistake. Enterprise, you guys can give any name. So enterprise registrations practicelabs.com. Okay, so now added successfully. So we have now successfully completed the task 1. So just click enroll, finish. Okay, so we have now successfully completed task 1, prepare system requirement for ADFS resource partner, and then 5 tasks what we done one by one. Okay, so now we are going to see second task is a prepare system requirements for ADFS account partner. So as I said before, when setting up ADFS, it typically involves 2 security domains. One is a resource partner, what we discussed, what I showed before, and then now we are going to see the account partner, ADFS account partner. So the account partner is a domain where the accounts such as users that will access the corporate assets located in the resource partner. Okay, so first we are going to see the install a new ADFS for us. So we are now going to install certificate service on the parent domain, practicelab.com, the domain. That is a parent domain, right? So just close it, this one, everything. Click save it on desktop. Okay. So the task 2, prepare system requirement for ADFS account partner. The previous one, the resource partner, now is the account partner, right? So account partner is a domain where the accounts such as user that will access the corporate assets locate in the resource partner. Okay, a claim is a statement about a user account that is used for authorized access to an application residing in the resource partner domain. So ADFS account partner domain contain the user's account that will connect to the network assets found in the resource partner domain. So here we are going to create the new domain testing. I'll just give you a name, testing, like testing ADFS. So I'm going to create for test domain. Okay, so the testing ADFS .co.uk will be the account domain where users account will be accessing network asset found in parent domain, practicelab.com domain, resource domain. Okay, so let's go for it. Server manager. So first we need to, so what we have performed in domain controls, now we are going to perform on domain member server, standalone server. Okay, so for that we need to do the same steps. Tools, PowerShell. So we are using the same command. But this only the small change here. Here is AD domain. Okay, so let's wait for some time. So while AD domain service binary are being installed, so it's completed successfully. Okay, so it's now successfully added the AD domain service binaries. Okay, so now we're going to use this command for domain forest. So I'm just creating a new name, testing test ADFS.co.uk hyphen install DNS. Okay, so now enter. So let's give a password and then confirm the password. Okay, now proceed yes to all. So now the domain control rule it will be installed on AD on domain member server. So once we enter these commands, when adding this AD domain service, once is completed the first command, so the second command, the install ADS forest, it will promote a domain server as a domain control of a the subdomain like test adfs.co.uk, right? So it just promote as a domain control of this one, the test ADFS. Okay, so this will take a few minutes to finish, so let's pause my video. So it's installing new forest, all tested, completed successfully. Okay, let's wait for some time. So once it's done, the domain member server, it will reboot automatically. So you get a notification sometime. You have to check there is a sufficient time to complete restart, something like that. So still waiting for DNS and installing a new forest. So here you can see the test adfs.co.uk. It's now disjoining. So it's now done. It's now completed. So it's now going to restart automatically. So now it's successfully done. So we have successfully installed a new ADFS forest, and then we are going to do install and configure AD certificates service. I will show you how to install and configure AD certificate. Okay, so now tools, you have to perform this same steps on this domain member server. So what we did in task 1 in the previous resource partner, right? The resource partners chapter. So the same thing we have to do this on this domain member server. So just enter. So now it's installing the AD certificate services. So once it's completed successfully, we are now use the second command to install ADS certificate using a default setting. Okay. Then click A button, S2R. Okay, done. So we have now successfully completed. So now we are going to export root CS certificate on domain member server. So what we did on the domain control server last task, so we are doing the same thing on domain member server. Okay. So for that, run the tools, certificate authority, sorry, open the wrong tab. Certificate authority. So right click. So this is the forest we created. Property, view certificate, details, and then copy to files. So we are going to save this. So we are going to save this on the same location. Sorry, so in the same domain control, sorry, member server location. So last time it was a domain control, so now it's a member server. So exported successfully. So now close it. So we have now successfully done, but we have to just want to make sure. Okay, so just click OK. So now we have completed the third task, export root CA certificate. So now we are going to perform the configure custom certificate template on CA server. So on the domain member server, so we will be configured as a ADFS server in the account partner domain. So as such, so we must have a web server certificate that supports subject alternate name SAN, or a certificate with a multiples name. Okay. So for that, we just expand here and then certificate, right click, manage. Here the web server, the same process, but we are doing in the forest on domain member server. Here I just right click, so we can now, so just right click, the same process, duplicate. So here the genre, we are going to give the template name like test.web. Okay. So now publish. So you always select this option, publish certificate in AD, and then security. So add object type, computer. Okay. So here we're going to add the domain member server, the host name. Okay. Okay, then now, so as usual, so just select here. So just make sure that enroll. Okay. So apply. Okay. So you can now see here test-web is created. So we have now successfully completed configure custom certificate template on CA servers. Now we are going to perform allow issuance of new template. Okay. To add the customized certificate template that can be issued by domain member server CA server, we need to perform this step. Just right click, sorry, we need to open the certificate authority. Okay, here is already open. Okay, here the certificate template, right click, new, same process. Here we need to select the test what we created earlier. Okay, so we have now completed the allow issuance of new templates. Now we are going to perform request web certificate for ADFS server. Okay. Fine. That's nothing. Here we can now see the certificate. Add computer account. Next. Default settings. So let's click OK. So you have to open the personal certificate and then personal. Here on the certificate, right click, all tasks, request new certificates. So we are doing the same process on domain member server, what we did on the domain control. So we are doing the same process on domain member server. Let's take proceed next. So here we can see here test web. So then we need to add the hostname. Hostname is the domain hostname, domain member server hostname. And then forest name. Test ADFS .co.uk. Okay, hostname and then forest domain. So now over the DNS ADFS dot test ADFS dot co.uk. And then set authentication, certificate authentication dot ADFS dot test ADFS dot co.uk. Same thing, enterprise. Registration dot test ADFS dot co.uk. Okay, so now proceed, apply. Okay, and then enroll. So now it's finished successfully. So we have completed all 6. The final one, we are going to create GPO, group policy, for trusted root CA in practice, I mean the main domain, and the test dot what we created, the forest test.adfs.co.uk. okay, for that we need to connect a domain control. So we have done successfully configured, we have already successfully done all the 6 tasks on the domain member server. So we need to connect the domain control. So this is a domain control. So on the domain control server, so tools, so let's wait for some time, it's loading something. Okay. So now group policy management. So we will now going to establish a certificate trusted between domain main parent and forest. Okay, just expand the partition of the main domain. So you can see the default domain, right? Just right click the default domain policy, edit. So here computer configurations and then policy, Windows settings, and then security settings, and then public policy. Just double click the public key policy, and then you can click the trusted root certificate at all. Just double click. So here just right click and then select import. Excuse me. So on the import windows, so we can just click next. We can now enter the domain member server. I have shared already on the domain member server, so we need to get the file. Pdap. Yes. Okay. So next. So we can now no change on this. So finish. So here you can see the import was successful. So just make sure the share. Sometime you get a error message if the sharing was not successful. You need to make sure that you have already enabled the permission, the sharing permissions on the domain member server. Okay. Okay, now the certificate of the root CA server has been successfully added, as you guys can see under the trust folder. Just minimize the root policy. So now you can connect the domain member server. We will do the same process. So this is the domain member server. The same thing, just close it. Open. Okay, save the console, save it on desktop. Okay, done. So now we do the same process. Tools, group policy, management, forest, domain. So here, okay, just right click, edit. So here the same process, computer configuration policies. So Windows, security settings, and then public keys, and then trusted root certificate. Right click, import. Next. So we need to enter the domain control shared folder. So what we need to get the file, right? The certificate. So we need to enter the domain control host. So let's wait for some time. So you'll get a message if it's successful. Okay, the import was successful. So you guys can see now it's successfully done. Okay, so we have now successfully created GPO for trusted root so between the two, domain and forest. So we will now going to see the third task, task 3. So the task 3 enable name resolution for resource and account domain. So the only one task, configure alternates DNS and DNS forwarding. So let's go for the lab. So the name resolution must be properly configured between two organizations that are joined together with an AD Federation Service Trust. In this task, we will enable the domain control of each domain to have an alternate DNS servers that points to an external organization. For example, practicelab.com domain control called PLABDC01, the host name, with an IP address 192.168.0.1. So which will have an alternate DNS server that points to 192.168.0.4, which is domain member server host name PLABSA01, the host name. Okay, so we will now configure the servers and let's go for it. So we need to perform this on the domain control right now. Okay, right now I am in the domain control now. So on the domain controls, we need to open the command prompt. So run as administrator. So yes. We need to set an alternate DNS servers for the Ethernet connection. So for that, we need to use this command. Okay. So normally the nettest.exe will not return a status of indicating a successful configuration. If you get an error message saying the configuration DNS servers is incorrect or doesn't exist, re-enter the same command. So this error can happen if the computer is unable to detect the other DNS servers in the network. So you may likewise get a message saying that object is already in the list. You can just ignore this error. Okay. So here we can just enter the same command. Net sh interface IP add DNS name equal to Ethernet EDDR address 192.168.0.4.2. So entering the same command, you can see that the object is already in the list. Okay, so that's why I just want to show you this. So now we go back to the server manager, tools, and then DNS. So in the DNS manager, go to the conditional forwarder. So here the right click, new conditional forwarder. So here you can just type the forest domain test adfs.co.uk. Okay. So here I'm going to enter the IP address. Okay, so you just ignore this one. There are message about server fully qualified. Yeah, fully qualified domain not being resolved. So this you can just ignore and then select this, store this conditional forwarder. So here select all DNS server in the forest, so it's by default is there. So then click OK, then proceed, click OK. So now the conditional forward for the forest one is added now. It's available now. So just expand the forward. Then practice. Grab the main parent domain. Right click. Add a new record. A record. So new A records. You can just give a ADFS. And then IP address 192.168.0.5. You can now leave it as default settings, so no need to take anyone. So just click add host to successfully added. So now we have to type the certificate authority. Cert authority dot ADFS. So we need to enter the same IP. Just click add host. So here just successfully done. So we have done successfully. Then just close it on the DNS manager. So we can now connect the domain number server. So we have now successfully added the records, everything. So the domain number server. So this is the domain number server. Here we are doing the same process. Command prompt, run as administrator, net sh, interface, IP, add, DNS, name, equals, Ethernet, add, 192.168.0.1, index equal to 2. So just click it OK. So let's wait for some time. So as I said before, if you get any error message like the configured DNS service is incorrect or doesn't exist, so you can ignore, or if you want to double check, you can just re-enter the command. So you will get the the result, the successful result. Okay, let's wait for some time. So normally you won't get the as I said before, the net.sh.exe will not return a status to indicate a successful configuration, but it is done successfully. So we don't want to check once again. Let's go for the tools, server manager, then tools, DNS. So here they do the same process, conditional forwarding. So here just right click on the new conditional forwarder. Here we are going to enter the parent domain. And then here the IP address. And then click the same process, select. So you can just ignore this domain fully qualified is not done, so you just ignore that one. So then click OK. So just make sure refresh. Okay, so okay, now we're doing the same process on the practice lab. So here we're going to add the ADFS and then IP address. And then same thing, the certificate authority, right? So make sure the IP address is a domain member server on this server. So this server IP. So if you want, you can. If you are not sure, you can just check that IP address. IP config. You see, so domain member server IP address is. Just make sure. Add host. So click OK and then done. You guys can see now. So certificate authority is done successfully. So we have now successfully done task 3, enable name resolution for resource and account domains, and then we have successfully configured alternate DNS and DNS forwarding. So task 4, prepare requirements for ADFS, Active Directory Federation Service Servers Resource Partner. So first we will see install IAS on Windows Server and then Windows standalone server. First we need to connect a standalone server now. So this is a standalone server. So domain number standalone server. So here we can just restore the IAS from the taskbar. Sorry. So okay, the resource partner domain in an Active Directory Federation Service infrastructure is the organization that owns the corporate network resource such as web application that is accessed by user from the account partner organization. So first we are going to see install IAS on domain member server, I mean the standalone server, domain member standalone server. So let's see. Now is connected the domain member server. So first we need to open the domain server manager and then tools, Windows browser. So we are going to install the web server and other required components using the command. Okay, started now. So let's wait for some time while installing Windows feature or being. So this big post is almost completed. Okay, it's done successfully. So now we will now install the ASP and other development tools. Okay. Okay, now installing. So now installing the ASP and other deployment tools. So let's wait for some time. So once it's completed, we will now reboot. So we will now going to reboot to enable. So if you reboot, so it will enable it to detect the newly installed certificate authority servers in our domain control. Okay. Okay, now the restart is done successfully. So we have now successfully completed the first task, install IIS on Windows standalone server. So now we are going to do the second, request computer certificate for IIS. So a trusted certificate authority was configured earlier on domain control. So to ensure that the domain member server detects the trusted CA, you need to update the computer policy. So for that, run the console. Okay. So here you can now go to the same, add and remove, select the certificate, add computer components, next. So here just finish. So now click OK. So go to the local in the console pan. So here personal certificate, on the certificate right click, request new certificate. Okay, so now next. So it takes few minutes, few seconds. So now you can see here on the plab, you have to select this one, plab.web. Okay, so now click more information. So here you're going to choose the common name and the value. So domain member's host name. So this current domain member standalone server host name. Okay. Okay. Here we are going to the DNS. practicelab.com. Okay. So the name is now added, the DNS now is added. So now let's apply. Okay. Here you can just click enroll. So enroll, after that you can just finish. So you can just minimize this console. So just minimize the console window. So now we go to the server manager and the tools. Select IIS. Okay, Internet Information Services. Okay, now you can click here the domain, the host name. Here in the certificate, just maximize. You can just double click the server certificate. Okay. your computer certificate is now issued. You can see here. So the task, we have successfully completed the second request computer certificate for IAS. Now we are going to see configure SSL binding. Okay. So to enable website published in domain member server, the standalone server, to use SSL, the certificate must be bound to the default website. So for that, the US, okay, you can just expand, click the site. Here you can expand the site, the default, just right click and then edit binding here. Okay, so here add, so we need to enter the host name, the domain number server, standalone server host name. Okay, now click OK. So let's double check labs.com. So now, so there is a small mistake, so we need to change it at HTTPS. So let's remove and re-add it. Okay, add, just gonna change HTTPS. So now that 01 .com. Okay, here we are going to select this SSL certificate. So now click OK. So now it's added 443 this HTTPS, because HTTPS is very important. So now we can minimize, just close it and then minimize the IAS manager. So we have now successfully configured SSL binding. So we are going to see download a sample clients applications. So in this task we will download sample code to create a client our application. So please note that this application doesn't have full capability of a full-fledged clients applications and will not be functional in the lab exercise or in this video. Okay. So on the domain member server standalone, we are going to open Internet Explorer. So here I just downloaded the Clients app. I have already downloaded that app. So I download and extract the Clients app. So now we're going to copy this. We're going to move this file climb app. So just copy and then go to C drive, internet pubs and then www root. So you can move this file under IAS. Okay, so this www root. So here you have to move this climb app. So we have now successfully completed the fourth task, download a sample clients applications. We are going to now add web applications. Okay, so now we are going to restore the IAS. Sorry, Just open that IIS server. So we can just expand. So we can now open the IIS server. So now we will see the add applications. Okay, there we go. So here, okay, so the location, okay, it's done. So just click OK. We can now minimize the IIS manager. So we have now successfully completed all the 5 tasks under the task 4. So now we are going to see task 5. So task 5, install and configure AD Federation services. First we will see install IIS. There is a 7 tasks. We are going to see one by one, 7 steps. So first we are going to see install IIS and on domain control and member server. Okay, so that will run ADFS. Sorry, FS. For that we need to connect to domain control. We need to perform this step, all the stuff on domain control now. Okay, so this is a domain control. So after successfully setting up the requirement for the resource and account partner side of the ADFS, we will now install the Active Directory Federation service on each organization domain. So you will learn how to install and configure AD Federation service. So let's go for it. Server manager. First we need to install the web service on the server that will run ADFS. Okay. Tools, Windows PowerShell. There we have to add okay, now sorted. So this command helps to install the web server and other required components. Okay, so let's wait for some time. Okay, done. So now we're going to use the command to install web server. Sorry, we need to do the same steps on domain member server. So we have now successfully completed this command on the domain control server. So now we go back to the domain member server. So the first servers here, the domain member server, we have to open the PowerShell, enter the same command here. enter. Okay, so let's wait for some time while the Windows features are being installed. So you can just minimize. So we have now successfully completed the first task. Install IIS on domain control and domain member server. So we use the same command for both servers and now install successfully. That will run on ADFS. Okay, so now we're going to do the second, add ADFS feature in resource partner. Okay, for that we need to connect back to domain control. So this is a domain control. So we're going to create the KDS root key for group managed service account, GM. In short, we can say GMSA. For that we need to use this command, KDS. Enter. Okay, successfully created the KDS root key for GMSA. So now we are going to install the AD Federation service. Enter. So let's wait for some time. So when the feature is being installed, so once it's done, okay, you can see the successful confirmations successfully installed. So, okay, we have now completed the second task, added ADFS feature in resource partner. So we are now going to see configure a standalone federation server. Okay, so to create the first server in the ADFS form, we need to open the dashboard. So on the same domain control, you can just okay, let's see, let's refresh, minimize this. You just press F5 to refresh the window. Okay, so you can just let's see the notifications. So here you can see the configure. So we will now proceed next. Here you can just leave it as default settings. So here just click on this. You are going to select the domain control practice lab. Okay. So it's done. You can now So you can just click next. Here we need to enter the name, so the group name, okay, and click next. So here they can just create a database page or create a database on this. Okay, okay, proceed next. So now click configure. Please wait for some time. So now we can close it, so it will take some time. Okay, so now what we can do now is okay, you can see here the server was successfully configured, so you can just close it. Okay, so now we can just restart restart, just right click and then shut down and then restart. The plant. Continue. Okay, we have now successfully done the third task, configure a standalone federation service. Now we are going to verify the availability of federation metadata on ADFS server. Okay, okay, the domain control server is restarted now. So yeah, just verify. You can just verify this one is completed. It's okay. If the process was not completed, so you see the notification here. Okay, so to verify the availability of federation metadata on ADFS server, so we need to connect the Windows 10 machine. Okay, this is a Windows 10 machine. We can just right click, open network share. So here you can just open internet option. So in internet options you have to click connections. So the LAN settings. So there the proxy settings, exceptions now. So click the advanced. So here in the exceptions, ADFS asterisk, need to add this under the proxy settings. Okay, so then press it, click OK, click OK, and then OK. We can now open the Internet Explorer. So we are going to verify the URL. Just proceed, enter. It's loading now. You need to please ensure that .xml file opens and view the content of the file. Okay, so I entered the .xml federations metadata.xml. So we can also check with a different URL. So at the same time. So you guys can see now the metadata of ADFS server is displayed now. So I use the first link is not working, meaning I didn't add that ADFS. Then after adding that ADFS dot the domain, it is working now. So we have now successfully completed the fourth task, verify the availability of federation metadata on ADFS server. So we are going to see how to install ADFS in account partners domain. Okay, so to install ADFS on the account partner domain, we need to connect a domain member server. Okay, so let's go for it. So it's a domain member server. Go to the server manager, tools, PowerShell. Okay, the PowerShell is already open. Okay, now yes. Now we have to set the property of manage service account. For that, we need to use this command. Addition. Enter. Okay, the GUI ID is successfully generated when I use this command. So now we will install the AD Federation service using the command. Okay. So now you can see here that ADFS is successfully installed. So we have now successfully completed installing ADFS in account partners domain. So we are going to see now configure a standalone federation server in account partner organization. Okay. The same domain member server. So go to the server manager. So let's refresh it. Just refresh. Okay, you can see here the post default. Just click the configured federation server. Doing the same process. Just click next. Next. Here we are going to add the domain number. Is what we did on the domain control. Here practice IT federation. Sorry, we can just change it. Test federation, just give it any name. So what are the purpose? Let's say sometime the IT or sales team. So now here we can create the only. So just click next. So then configure. So let's wait for installation to complete the process. As this, it will take a few seconds or a few minutes sometime. So once it's completed, you will see options, the close options. Once it's closed, we will restart the machine. So okay, done. So now we will verify this on Windows 10 machine once again. Okay, so let's restart this machine now. Okay, so on the Windows 10 machine, so I'm just going to replace the same thing. Just copy. Here, test ADFS. Okay, and then .co.uk. That's it. So I don't touch anything. I'm going to test. Copy. Here. Okay, we can check this with a new tab. Okay, let's wait for some time. So if looks there is a problem, so if I get this error message, we can just click continue. Let's wait for some time. 1 moment. So let's wait for some time. Still loading. So if there is any error message, we will just go back to domain member server and we can check if there is any error message. So this is the domain member server. So services, you can check here. Okay, so we can now check ADFS. You see here it is working now. Just copy the same thing. I just refresh the page on the services, so I use this. Okay, so we have now successfully completed task 5. So we will now see the task 6. So task 6, create AD Federation Service Trust. So here we will see enable client. We're going to see the first task, enable clients provider trust. So before that, I give you a small brief explanations. In Active Directory domain service, a trust relationship is created between two Active Directory domains that span two domains for us, or two external domains to allow the sharing of network assets or centralized administrator of users or group between domains. The trust relationship is a logical link between two domains relies on verifiable and permanent network connection to authenticate all identities who access resource in the AD domain. So in the Active Directory Federation services, a federation trust must be established between the account partner and resource partner domains. The resource partner hosts that application, the application that will be accessed by the account partner organization. So in this first task, the enable claims provider trust. So the claim provider is a ADFS server that hosts user with the signed token contain claims. A claim is a statement that describes a user like name, email address, user principal name. When a user connects to a network resource found in the partner organizations, the user claims is authenticated using ADDS and populate the user claims with the attribute request by the partner organization. So to enable claims provider trust in the account partner, so we will need to perform the steps on domain member server. Okay, let's connect the domain member server. So this is a domain member server. We have to open the tools, ADFS management. So in the ADFS management, we can just click a client provider. At the right side, just right click for Active Directory and select Edit Client Rules. So here, click the Add Rules. Here, we need to select the send LDAP attribute as claim. Okay, so it's by default. So here, click next. So here, just give a name, client rules name, outgoing LDAP. Okay. Here we can just select the Active Directory. So here under mapping of LDAP attributes to outgoing client types, just select the drop down button. So you can select the email addresses. Okay, then click outgoing client types, select the same step, email addresses. See, done. We can now select again one more, user principal name, the same thing, UPN, user principal UPN. So we have no selector. So one more, the last one more, display name. Here we are going to select just name. Okay, so now finish. So click OK. Okay, just keep it open. So we have now successfully completed the first task, enable claims provider trust. The second task we are going to perform is configure how to configure the Windows Identity Foundation Federations utility. So the Windows Identity Federations utility is a program for configuring an application to use with the ADFS. To use WIF to set up an applications, so we need to connect a domain member server in the standalone, okay, domain member server. So we have now connected the domain member server. So let's open the Internet Explorer. Here we need to download the Windows Identity Foundation SDK, so on the Microsoft website, but I have already downloaded. Just click run. So next, .NET framework is very important. Windows Identity Foundations. Click next, install and finish. Okay, so we can now just close this Internet Explorer. This is a readme we don't want, so okay, just close it. So now open the server manager, tools. Here there's Windows Identity Foundations Federations. Here we need to locate the configuration file. So the claims are already saved on under the folder. This is a domain number server. Click next. Okay, now can select this use an existing STS. Just going to add the this is what we checked on Windows 10, so you need to enter the same URL. Okay, so if you want, you can just double check before you You see there is a small error message. Okay, just going to the next button. So here we can just leave it default settings. So no encryption. So here just proceed next. In summary, just click finish. So you have successfully configured your application. So okay. So click OK. So we have now completed the second task. Now we are going to see the configure a relying party trust for the client's web applications. So relying party is the organization where the application is located. It functions as the other side of the ADFS authentication and authorization process. So in these videos we are going to see the lab video on the practicelab.com organizations where the application reside, and this application resource will be accessed by the test adfs.co.uk. Okay, so first we are going to, for this we are going to connect domain member server. So we were doing this the standalone server. Okay, domain member standalone server. So or else you can consider member server 2. So we're going to connect back the domain member server 1. So here you can just right click, something internet options, and then LAN settings, advanced. So here we're going to type ADFS asterisk. So just click OK. So done. So just ensure the ADFS management windows is open. So here you can see. So just click ADFS folder. So just navigate the action centers. Okay, here add the first one. Add relying party trust. Okay. So here just loading. Let's wait for some time. Click start. So here ADFS dot practice.com. Proceed next. So here we can change a different name. Then click next. So if you want to type notes, you can just give a notes, any notes. Otherwise you just leave it. So on the next page, choose access control policy. Permit everyone. So the first one, grant access to everyone. Okay, just click next. So here just okay, just leave it, just next, click next. So here, so just ensure the configuring claims issuance policy of the applications, the checkbox is selected. So just click close. So we have now successfully completed the third task. So we are going to see the fourth task, configuring claims rules for the relying party trust. So Federation server use claims rules to process claims presented by a user when accessing an application found in the resource partner organization. For instance, claim rules might state that an example, for instance, the claim rules might state that an email address is accepted as a valid claim from the account partner, and this is transformed into a specific rules in the resource partner organization. To set up claims rules for the relying party trust, so we need to perform these steps on the ADFS. So same step. So here, just right click the here. Okay, just up with the relying party trust. Here, right click, edit claim issues. So here, add rules, and then pass through or filter on incoming. So we need to select this one. Here we can give a name, just pass through Windows account name rule. So here I'm going to select account name. So Windows account name. Okay, so Windows account name. So just ensure the pass through all claims value, it should be selected. Then finish. So here can now try one more thing. So next, enter the same, but this time email address rule. Here you can enter the email address. Okay, incoming client types, email address. Here the same thing, then finish. Okay, so you can now see the two rule name is two rules successfully added here. So we're going to add one more thing, UPN, pass-through filter incoming. Next, so here you can see here, right, the UPN, pass-through and finish. Okay, and then No. This time is name. Okay, finish. So fine. So we have now completed all four: Windows account name, email address, UPN, and name. So click OK. So you can just minimize ADFS. So now we can okay, one more time. So just go and check this ADFS. Just close it. Okay, tools, ADFS management. So just double click. So we just ensure okay, this is enable. Right click, properties. So under the monitor, test URL. So okay, this is the Federation metadata URL was validated and successfully. This means the trusted was successfully created. So click OK. So we have now successfully completed the fourth task. The fifth one, how to create a claims provider trust for the claim publication. So a claim provider trust is a setup on relying party federation server, which is the domain control, the parent domain control, practicelab.com organization. Okay. So the claims provider trust identifier, the claims provider trust identifier, the claims provider test adfs.co.uk and describe how to relying party utilize the claim issued by when its user access the network resource of the external organization. Okay. So further we need to connect domain control. So this is a domain control. We have to perform this task on domain control. So let's do this. Right click. Just do the same process, adding ADFS. Okay. So now go to the server manager, ADFS management. So here, just double click the client. So just right click and then add client providers. Click start button. So here I'm going to enter ADFS dot the forest name test adfs.co.uk. Okay. Next, just change the name. test ADFS claims provider. Next. So here just okay, just close this. Okay, just click next. Okay, just make sure this one is enabled. Okay. We have now successfully completed the created client provided trust of the client web application. So the last task, this last and final task, configure client rules for the client provided trust. Okay, so the client rules define how clients are sent and used by ADFS server. Client rules are used by account partner organization to provide clients to the users and the clients that are acceptable by resource partner organization. So the domain control, so the same, you just minimize this one, ADFS. So on the domain control server, okay, you can just okay, this one. Okay. Tools. Okay, you have already opened the ADFS. Here, go to the relying party. Oops, the client provided trust. Here the domain, the forest domain. So just right click and then edit client rules. Here we are going to add rules. The same steps what we performed on the domain number, we have to perform this on domain control. So here Windows account name, just make sure the pass through all times yes, and then add the second row. Okay, so no need, we have already done. We can just configure this only the Windows account name here. So this is good enough. So we can just apply OK. We can OK. Just refresh it. So that's it guys, we have now completed successfully all the tasks. Okay, so that's successfully. So that's it guys for this. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. So please, if you guys don't understand, just just go back to just watch the video once again, or 3 times or 2 times or 3 times, or just go and watch the video repeatedly so you guys can understand, or else you just give a comment so that I will try to help you guys. So please subscribe my channel, press the bell button to get more update, share the video if you like. Thank you guys, have a good day, bye bye.